We are now being joined on the news at 10 by a former lawmaker and legal practitioner, Honorable West Idahosa, for a broader perspective on the unsigned electoral amendment bill. I want to thank you so much indeed for joining us from our Abuja studios. What's your assessment of the president's refusal to sign the electoral amendment bill?
Well, the point I have to make is that it's not quite clear why this decline is coming again. I understand very clearly that this is a bill that was first presented about 10 months ago, and repeatedly the bill has had several rejections, and all of the contributions that the president has made in the past have been accommodated. And to that extent, everyone thought that this time around the bill was going to gain the assent, but it didn't do so. One would then wonder whether there is a sincere commitment to organizing credible, transparent, free and fair elections. Because the most important part of this bill was to guarantee that a process which INEC had been using, the smart card accreditation, became a product of law. You will remember that in 2015, when the case of Wike versus Dakuku Peterside came up, the Supreme Court rejected the use of card readers by implication of INEC regulations instead of the law. So this was a major amendment directed at the fabric of electoral transparency, and it is a pity that it's been rejected.
What's your response?
I do not see any confusion about which of the laws is applicable at a time like this. Because all of the primaries have been completed, and we know under which law they were conducted. The amendment is directed to take effect from the day that the president assents to that law, and it will principally regulate the 2019 elections very clearly and very unequivocally. So I am not too sure I am carried away by the excuse of confusion. And then, more importantly, the other amendments which have to deal with clause corrections, provisos to the clauses, and minor typographical inclusion.
Honorable Idahosa, if you would let me just come in here, just so we can have a back-to-back discussion and make it more smooth. What's your response to some of the reactions that trailed the president's refusal to sign the amendment? The CUPP, for one, says that the president lost an opportunity to write his name on the sand of political history in Nigeria. But is that truly the case?
Well, it looks so, because there is the need to improve the electoral process. And that was the kind of process that brought the president to power. And he has a duty to improve the process so that our democracy can advance and move to a level of public opinion democracy. I think that that bill, which the president has refused to assent to, gave a guarantee of the framework within which free, fair, transparent, and credible elections could have been conducted.
But clearly, this is in the purview of the president to choose whether or not to sign this amendment bill. But how does this affect the conduct of the elections in 2019, in your view?
Well, in my view, what it means is that we are going to have a lot of resort to having incident forms, and that's been a big manipulation process in the whole of the electoral cycle. I do think that that's a cause for worry, and I believe that the easiest way to have guaranteed the confidence of the Nigerian voters, and indeed the entire electoral environment, would have been to allow the card readers to be legalized and become a creature of the statute, and then to even allow electronic transmission of results to be the mode of communication of results to the appropriate authorities. In that way, it would have been much difficult to manipulate the process. So I see that there will be plenty of upheaval ahead in 2019.
You say that there could be upheavals. What specifics? Could you take us through specifics?
Well, the type of upheaval, I mean, a lot of disagreement on which results were authentic. There will be a lot of incidents of ballot snatching, a lot of incidents on manipulation of the election results. Do not forget that one of the ways to avoid this would have been to have smart card accreditation legalized and then have transmissions, if possible, electronically transmitted. I mean, I'm talking about the results now. And that would have minimized disagreements, friction, and of course, the tendency for violence, which of course follows disagreement over polling booth announcements if they are tampered with by the electoral officers, or if they are snatched by agents of one political party or hired thugs.
I must indeed thank you so much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us, a former lawmaker and legal practitioner, Honorable West Idahosa. The wife of the president, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, is seeking ways of raising finance from agencies such as the Central Bank and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the NNPC, to provide funding for persons living with HIV and AIDS. Speaking at the launch of the Free to Shine campaign, an initiative aimed at prioritizing children, women and adolescents in the fight against HIV, Mrs. Buhari says that the pool funds will go a long way in addressing the increasing rate of mother-to-child transmission of the disease, which accounts for 90% of new infections.
I've been living positively since 1999. The virus was discovered during my last pregnancy, 99. And you people will know that by then the awareness was not much and the fate of that child. I don't need to tell you. I've been having many challenges that most of the media carried. I hate appearing in the media again because nothing is being done. But thank God I'm alive and the child is also alive. Also,
that's the story of Florence Ono. She represents many other women who are passing through hard times for living with the HIV and AIDS virus. But the situation may be receiving some attention with the launch of the Rise and Shine initiative.
This is the Free to Shine.
An estimated 36.9 million people live with HIV and AIDS globally, with Nigeria sharing a burden of 3.1 million. An official of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS puts mother-to-child transmission of HIV and AIDS at 28%, a situation which he says is a source of concern.
I urge all stakeholders to continue to align their support to end childhood HIV and AIDS to our national objectives, policies and systems so that Nigeria will not be left behind as the rest of the world progresses towards achieving the 1990 goals of HIV epidemic control.
The wife of the president, however, lends her support to reducing the scourge of HIV and AIDS in the country.
I hope and seek attention of the Honorable Minister of Health to create a platform that will mobilize funds from government agencies and parastatals, I can say, like the CBN, the NNPC, the NPA, NIMASA, and so on, to make sure that the funds are utilized in taking care of the people that are living with HIV and AIDS.
An estimated 153.2 billion naira is required to treat the estimated 3.1 million people living with HIV and AIDS in Nigeria annually. Hopefully, the unveiling of this latest initiative may help address issues of funding and reduce the burden.
Watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television, reaching you from our Lagos studios. Let's quickly shift to Abuja now, where Ibrahim Adra is standing by with a couple of more stories. Ibrahim.
Many thanks indeed, Gimba. Now, the Federal Executive Council has ratified the 2019 budget estimates after deliberations at a special meeting on Friday. The meeting, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, did not, however, disclose how much was budgeted or when it will be presented to the National Assembly. The Minister of Budget and National Planning, who spoke to State House correspondents after the meeting, said they will open communication with the National Assembly with a view to securing a date for the presentation. This meeting is focusing solely on the 2019 budget, sort of cross the T's and dots the I's in preparation for transmission to the National Assembly. The meeting commenced at about 10:30 in the morning when President Buhari arrived. 2.5 hours later, the Minister of Budget and National Planning reports that the Council agrees with the estimates presented.
The 2019 executive budget proposals were approved by the Federal Executive Council today.
Mr. Udoma, however, did not say when the President will present the budget to the National Assembly.
We are hoping as soon as possible. We will be in touch with the National Assembly because you know that they have to agree to the dates that they would receive the budget.
With only weeks before the end of the year and heightened political activities in the country, it may take a long while before Budget 2019 is ready. A rather busy day for the President, as he also receives a delegation of the Miners Association of Nigeria. President Buhari offers an assurance of his readiness to address the challenges facing them in their operations.
I've listened very carefully to your address, and I believe the Secretary to the government will articulate your address and forward it to me so that whatever we can do through the supervising minister, we shall encourage you in terms of understanding of the state governments that are interfering with you.
The Minister of Mines and Steel Development is aware of the goal and believes government has made appreciable progress.
From the renew today, you can easily get a license. It used to take almost a year to get a license. We've reduced it now to 45 days. And further, we're optimizing our cadastral office to reduce this to 15 days.
The miners expressed joy with the work done in the last 3 years to reposition the sector and told the President that some of their problems include undue interference and multiple taxation.
One is the undue interference in the mining governance by some state governors. 2, inadequate funding to rejuvenate the sector to become the future economic mainstay.
The miners say the body, founded in 1944, has the key to the nation's economic diversification if given the necessary support. President Buhari was honored by the miners as a life patron of the association.